Hello? There we go. Hey, guys. Hey. How we doing? Still DFA Kirby. Manny, you don't know ball, brother. Unfortunately, you do not know ball. Jeff, Goated, Jay, Robert, Choom, Steamboat, Tyler, Cheese, Manny, Chris, Dubs. Welcome to the stream. Happy sweep of the Pirates. A perfect sweep. No runs allowed this series, eh? That's pretty neat. That doesn't happen very often. Still DFA Kirby. This guy. That's crazy. Donating $1 per run given up this series. Okay. Yeah, everyone donate money for how many runs the Pirates offense scored this series. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Listen. Vintage pitching performances out of the guys this homestand, but also this series. I mean, woo, 6 innings, 8 Ks, beautiful. Earns him the all-star nod. Castillo, 7 innings, 2 hits, nothing, with 8 Ks, beautiful. And then Kirby, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 9 Ks, like gorgeous pitching. Kirby did his job. He did his job very well, Tom, and that's something to say. Skeens pitched well. He did. I mean, Skeens always pitches well. Dude's a monster. So thank God that they pulled him when they did instead of another extra inning. But Jeff, $2. Appreciate the $2. Why did it pop up, or am I crazy? It should have. How much would you trade for Ronald Acuna Jr.? I would trade quite a lot for Ronald Acuna Jr. That trade package that Jage posted that we talked about on the podcast, I think I would not do at this very moment. Maybe in the off season I would be interested in it, but it all depends. I would be willing to give up probably Lazaro in that trade, but I would not want to give up Colt if I could avoid it. But it'd have to be 3 top 75. So like Lazaro, Felnin, and like Harry Ford likely would go in my head. And then, if they want a pitcher, I'd rather trade Miller than Kirby. If I have to trade Kirby, then hopefully it's lighter on the reliever end. But again, Acuna's not getting traded, and it's all hypotheticals. But I'm happy the Mariners got a dub today, and that's what freaking counts. JD says, Pirates lineup so bad. Hard to say pitching was spectacular against a JV squad. I mean, I guess, but we've seen Mariners pitchers against putrid offenses not necessarily fit the bill and give them the chance to win, and they did that in this series, so I will not complain about it one bit. Not say that you're complaining, but, no runs allowed is pretty cool, bro. I'm just going to say, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Levi, great series all around. I mean, from the pitching side, yes. Offensively, I mean, it's Randy Arozarena and not a lot else aside, obviously, the first game, like Cal hits 2. But, like, Randy, since starting the homestand, so his OPS on June 29th, the last game of the road trip before coming home, was 395. He has raised it 50 points in a span of 7 games. It went from 395 to 446. Like, Randy has been cooking. His stats over his last 15 days. Okay? Stats over his last 15. We'll just do like counting stats. 19 hits, 6 homers, 14 RBI. I'll say his slashes too. A 322 average, a 354 OBP, and a 661 slug. That was over his last 15 games. Now over his last 7 games, I don't know if you remember how many home runs he hit in the last 15. It was 6. The last 7 games, 6 home runs, 9 RBI, a 346 average, a 333 OBP, and a 1,038 slug. The summer of Randy is here. Shout out Jake, Raise the Trident. Shout out East Coast M's for saying that they want to see a little bit more power out of Randy's bat because they summoned it right quick. Nice win, but Houston won again. Yeah, I mean, they're playing like they're a really good baseball team because they are a really good baseball team. All the Mariners can do is continue to, as a phrase that I like to say, play the team in front of them, and hopefully they continue to win series. Nothing is going to be given to them, and so long as they keep winning, I don't know if they'll catch Houston, but regardless of that, if they keep winning, they should find them, or keep winning series, they should find themselves in a wild card spot at the least. You know what I mean? Sweep weekend, exactly, Desert Stro. Yours was a bit more impressive against the Dodgers versus against the Pirates, but again, as a Mariners fan, I'm gonna take what I can get because now the Mariners have an off day and they play the Yankees and then the Tigers. That's a rough series, but a rough 2 series that you got to play against. But again, all you got to do is play the team in front of you. Hopefully they can snag a couple games there against some pretty tough opponents. Kirby better than Skeens confirmed. Mighty Pat, you might be cooking. You might be cooking. Steamboat said, is Randy back in peak shape? I mean, seems like a guy that once he gets hot, it's hard to slow down. I hope that he just continues to hit the hell out of the baseball and maybe earns himself an extension with the team. I don't really care at this point. If a dude can hit in T-Mobile Park, you may as well hold on to him as much as you can. Mike with the 5. Am I the only one who doesn't want Acuna giving up too much for one guy? Baseball's a team, so I'd rather have 3 really good guys than one great one. I mean, I don't think it's neither here nor there. It's a lot of hypothetical silliness. If the Mariners felt like a more completed team where one guy could push them over the hump more so than a conglomerate 3 guys, like I don't necessarily disagree fully, but saying that I wouldn't want Acuna would also be a lie in that same way. You know what I mean? Let's not forget the Pirates were hitting well. They were winners of their last 6. Mariners came in and the Pirates came to Seattle and they stopped the buzzsaw. That was the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jeff, appreciate your 2 there. Hard to get excited when the stupid Astros never freaking lose. I mean, I'm pretty excited. You can't look at it only through the lens of the Astros. If you do that, you're never going to be happy. 6-4 their last 10 are the Mariners. You sweep the Pirates, you get a 5-2 homestand. The pitching looks like it's back on to more so what we expect. I'm very satisfied with how this homestand went. It could have gone. It wasn't perfect. Obviously, perfect is 7-0. I would even consider 6-1 in a 7-game homestand where you have a start with Emerson Hancock, who obviously got DFA'd afterwards, or sent down, optioned, not DFA'd. Whoa, not DFA'd, optioned. 6-1 might have also been labeled perfect in my head for my expectations. This homestand was still very good, though. Bro, hop on the live, dude. I'm hopping on it live. Live. The Astros are cheating again. Ref, do something. Ref. Yeah, they just can't. They can't stop winning. I don't get it, bro. I don't know who they paid off to have nothing ever go wrong for them. But the Astros just keep winning, and it sucks because I hate it. There's more than just one division, everyone. Kevin Kirby. The wild card, I mean, it looks like there's probably, if I had to guess, at the end of the year, I would say there's going to be 4 or probably 5 teams competing for those 3 spots. Like looking at where the wild card standings are right now, of the 3 teams that are in the wild card spots. Yankees at the top, Rays tied with them, and then the Mariners currently occupy the 3rd spot. And then the teams just outside are the Red Sox, who are 2 games back of the Mariners, the Rangers, who are 3 games back, the Angels, who are 4, the Twins, who are 4.5. And Tigers proved last year that wherever they're at, at some point during the summer, doesn't matter. They went on a historic run in September or August into September and then made their way into the postseason. So what I'm saying right now likely does not hold much validity in the grand scheme of everything, but like I would be surprised if any team outside of the Rangers is like fully competing there when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? The Royals are interesting because their pitching's really good, but the offense has been really poor. But they're 5 games under. I imagine they might like sell some pieces from the bullpen, but I don't really know. But I would really think at the end of the season, it's going to be 2 teams from the American League East. I guess 3 teams from the American League East, depending on if the Blue Jays hold on to that top spot. But Yankees, Rays, Mariners, Red Sox, Rangers would be like my 5 that I think compete for the 3 wildcard spots at the end of the season. So, and I feel comfortable with the Mariners being at least better than the Rangers in that regard. Red Sox are an interesting team that they could get better, but trading Devers, I don't know. The Mariners find themselves in a weird spot, and again, all they can do is just win. They can just win, and that's the way to the promised land. You know what I mean? Playing the Yankees in the wild card, that wouldn't be fun. But at least the Mariners would have made the postseason. Is Randy AL Player of the Week? Gotta be. I mean, 6 homers in 7 games? Gotta be AL Player of the Week. You know what I mean? Gotta be. Heck the Rangers? Exactly. Heck the Rangers. AL Central is Toasties? Is Toasties, huh? I mean, it's the Tigers and then everybody else. Twins are 4 under. Royals are 5 under. Guardians are 8 under. The White Sox making a comeback? Maybe. 30 games under 500. I'm excited for what happened today. Obviously, Mariners sweep, but also some all-star nominations announced. Brian Wu making his first all-star team. Very, very well-deserved. Shout out Brian Wu. Good for him. Andres Munoz back-to-back as well. That's really exciting. Very cool for him. Hopefully, he'll pitch. That would be pretty neat. And then Julio, pretty polarizing all-star selection, voted by the players, by the way, not anybody else. It's the players' fault. So his peers, Julio is just, a man of the people. The jury, a jury of his peers voted him in. And the outfield is pretty weak in the American League. People could argue it should be Randy. I still think Randy could get in. I think JP has a chance to get in too. So having 6 all-stars would be kind of nuts. But very exciting for all the guys that did get nominated. There was someone who responded. So Colton tweeted the stat head comparison of Julio and Randy's season, and just the caption is, listen, I understand that Julio's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, but Randy is deserving of an all-star nod. Yes, I agree. I don't think Julio is not deserving in that same vein. I know WAR is a fake stat to people, whatever. Aqua Sox E115. 1115 is their at. Responded, the 2 don't need to be mutually exclusive. No one needs to point out that Julio doesn't deserve the all-star nod. Julio and Randy are tied for 7th amongst all outfield and AL with F4. I completely agree that it does not need to be exclusive to Julio doesn't deserve it and Randy deserves it. Like, they both can deserve it. You know what I mean? And the voting, and the decision-making behind it, it's probably been decided for like a week or a couple days. And to Lucario's point, Randy wouldn't have been an all-star in all-star talks if he didn't pop off this week. 100%. It's the same reason why like George Springer probably got snubbed, because he got hot recently. That's just the way it works. I still think Randy has a chance to get in. I think he is deserving, but I don't think that just because he's deserving, Julio is not in that same vein. Yes, the offensive numbers don't look exciting, but Julio's been one of the best, if not the best defender in the American League at a very premium position in center field. Not the most premium. Shortstop and catcher, do take a little bit of precedence there, but still a very valuable position, and having him be elite defensively, yes, it does pad his WAR in that way, but I know it's a controversial situation with Julio getting the all-star nod. And I think had Randy popped off a week prior, say it was the last 7 games of the long road trip, maybe he would have seen an all-star nod instead. It's possible. So that's just my 2 cents on the all-star situation. We do have an off day tomorrow and then a 6-game road trip before the All-Star break. But first, Jeff, $5. Another $5. Appreciate the 5, dog. Julio won All-Star nod for the same reason Judge will win MVP over Cal. If it's close, the bigger name wins. It is what it is. I agree that name power probably had a lot to do with it. Just Julio is a household name in baseball in general, and it's better for the game if like the stars of the game make the all-star team, hence the name All-Star. Not to say that Randy, again, has not been a star during this weekend. Playoff Randy with the Rays, like in 2020, took the world by storm. Like, he is a guy that has that electrifying talent, and I think has the potential to continue to stay maybe not 1,000 slugging hot, but hot to earn his way into a 25-25 season or a 30-20 season. Like, Randy could be putting together a career year in 2025 in his first full year with Seattle, which should promote some confidence with, if the Mariners want to, give him a contract extension, it might not be the worst idea. Where did Colton go? Lucario, there's your answer. We can say hi to Colton. We haven't said hi to Colton in a while. Hi. Everyone say hi to Colton. The lights are off. It's there. It's not like Julio's playing bad at the plate. Jimma, Julio's OPS is below 700, and that's where a lot of people will find issue with it. You know what I mean? Like, I get why people would rather not have Julio make the All-Star team just based on the offensive numbers, but that's neither here nor there. If the Mariners call up Class A, will he make the All-Star team? Mr. Sticky, that's a fantastic question. I think so. What's your take on trade deadline for third base? Get Eugenio Suarez back in a Mariners uniform. With Carlos Santana being made available by the Guardians, get him back in a Mariners uniform. I don't care. The Mariners brought back 95 with the coaching staff and everything like that. Bring back 2022 on the field. Get Gino, get Carlos Santana. Screw it. I'm all in. You know what I mean? I'm all in. It'll be fun to just play the nostalgia bait once again. Run back 2022, baby. Exactly. Will Julio be in the Derby? Could be. Maybe. Frazier too. I don't know if we need Slapton back. Julio be in the Derby. I mean, could be fun. I don't know if he's necessarily earned it this year, but prior home run derby performances would show that he's got the chance for it. Bring back Paul Sewald. Gino, good one, bro. Tom, there's no other third baseman. Like, that's it. That's the only one that I would want at the third base position that's likely going to be potentially available. You know what I mean? Like, it's about as low hanging fruit as you're going to get. And that's where I'm at. We need Swanee Pops. Yeah, and I saw Sewald too. Frazier sucks. Yeah, listen, we could fix him. We can bring him back. You want Kelenic back? No shot. Appreciate the $1.99 though, Lucario. Appreciate that. Hi, Seatown fan. Hello. Kirby was part of the Acuna trade. Would you want the M's to get Sandy or Gallen at the deadline if they're available and like something swings that way? I think that's what they'd have to do if they want to try and continue to be in contention. I know that the Acuna stuff is all hypothetical, whatever, but that was my biggest gripe with like a lot of the trade stuff that we were seeing is in the sense, whoa, lots of stuff going on. Hello. I didn't think that trade would make them better this year because you'd have to backfill the rotation in some way. Trade entire farm for 2 legit all-star bats all in. They better make, if there's someone available, you can make someone available. This would be the deadline to do it, especially with how weak the rest of the American League is. And if you sneak into a wild card spot with how good the pitching can be, you're a dangerous team in the postseason. But we sent 5 members. Mateo, Corbin, Jason, Tyler, and Cooks Brahmin have received membership. So congratulations to y'all. W members, W membies. Bang. Is the bullpen good enough? Munoz, Brash, Spire, Vargas, you can definitely improve upon the third spot. So, like, I think Munoz, Brash, someone there, move Spire into the fourth reliever spot, move Vargas out of the top four. I think you're probably sitting pretty. Like, if they can get one guy that's a top 3 arm in their pen, that's where they should go. And they tried it last year with Jimmy Garcia. He just wasn't the greatest and also got hurt. So it didn't necessarily work out there. But I definitely think that that's something that they should look at. So I think the bullpen can be good enough. It's just you right now with, I mean, God, it's hard to say because like Bizardo has pitched very well and his runners in scoring position numbers are really good. I would hate to see them thrust him into a bigger role or a more leverage role and him immediately crumble. You know what I mean? Legamina's been good-ish. A couple moments here and there that aren't great. Obviously, Trent Thornton, home runs per 9, Trent Thornton. It's a tough situation, but you have Juan Burgos in your bullpen right now. You can afford to upgrade at least 1, if not 2 spots. Vargas makes you nervous. Vargas is very volatile, and I get why he has electric stuff. Having him be your 4th best reliever or like the guy that you turn to as like the 4th most leverage can be tricky, especially since Gabe is not necessarily a lefty specialist, but they treat him like he's a lefty specialist. Like he's an interesting one to think about because like the leverage there is, yeah, you're using him to get out the best big bat lefty or just like any lefty as part of the lineup. But I feel like he could pitch in different spots. It's just they utilize him very specifically, you know? Do you think if Brash was healthy, he would make the All-Star game? I mean, if anyone was pitching to the tune of an ERA under 1, yeah, more than likely. You know? Remove 1, Legumina or Thornton, get rid of Thornton. I'm fine with Thornton going. Personally. Naylor would be a good addition. I hardly know her, but I agree. Lucario, I don't know. The YouTube mobile app live stream stuff isn't necessarily the most reformed, I guess. Nathan Eovaldi robbed. I don't know if that's a hot take. But there's gonna be people that make it in because of, you know, just like the replacements on the All-Star team. Eovaldi definitely will get in. Why is Kowar not up yet? Probably just because they don't necessarily need him right now, if that makes sense. When they called up Burgos, I don't think. Whoa. I almost died. My goodness. That was crazy. I don't get sick, bro. I was just choking on a chip. I had the barbecue Fritos over here that I was snacking on during the game, and one just snuck into the back of my throat or something. I don't know. It was really weird. For Kowar, it's just a matter of when he's able to come back, he will. Like, when they initially made that move, I don't think he was available to be called back up because of like the 15 days or however many days they need to spend in the minor leagues once they get sent down to be called back up. So I imagine Kowar, whenever they want, maybe after the All-Star break or whenever, I think is the reasonable time for when Kowar could come back. So yeah. Kowar over Burgos is, yeah, that's definitely like something that will happen. So, biggest question mark in our bullpen? He could be a huge W, though, Nunya. Could be a huge W. Want to see what Ford had, but looks like we won't. I mean, Garver, as Colton has noted him as handsome Garver after getting hit in the chin. I mean, he's been okay. It's not great. Do I think Harry Ford could come up and put up a 98 WRC plus? Probably. Do I think he could be worth 0.2 WAR? Probably. But that's neither here nor there. Colin Snyder's also on the injured list, and I think he threw a bullpen the other day, but I don't know if I'd want him back, but I don't think that they could. He doesn't have any options, so I don't know how that would work. If it's like you bring up Kowar and Snyder, and then you get rid of Burgos and Thornton, maybe. Maybe. Your wife is on oxygen. She knows the sensation of not being able to breathe. Well, so long as someone can relate to me, you know what I mean? Looks like we won't catch the Trastros. They just keep winning. They're cheating again. Not really. They're just playing really good baseball, unfortunately for us. How is Julio an all-star? Because he's a good baseball player in a weak crop of outfielders. No Snyder. I would prefer Snyder not to be there, but I think with the way, like, is it Snyder over Thornton? Or is it Thornton over Snyder? Nah, fuck the Astros. I mean, you're not wrong. Fuck the Astros, but like, they just keep winning. Like, there's no other way to put it, bro. Like, would you want Bregman? I would like a baseball player that is good as Alex Bregman. Yes. The issue is he's Alex Bregman. And as Colton likes to note him as a flea on the nutsack of society, I don't think it would go over well with a lot of Mariners fans. Still here because we ain't got anything else. I mean, you have potential in Kowar, and if you bring up Snyder again, that is where that would go, I think, for Thornton. But to kind of round out this point of who they should go after at the deadline, like, there's going to be leverage arms available from a multitude of teams that would push guys like Thornton, Snyder, Legumina, maybe even like Kowar out of your current existing bullpen. You know what I mean? 11-6 during the 17-game stretch. Great to see. This just needs some of that offense show up on the upcoming road trip. Finally, a day off on Monday. I don't know what my expectations are going into New York and going into Detroit. Cal definitely will break or set Mariners history this week with the most home runs before the All-Star break. Bryce Wilson just subscribed. The pitcher? No, his name is with an S. That's Bryce. Bryce, B-R-Y-S-E. Shame. Cal will make Mariners history this week and break Ken Griffey Jr.'s home run record for most home runs before the All-Star break. I saw someone earlier in stream say he's going to catch Bonds. I think he'd need to hit 40. So if he ties Bonds, I think he's 39. He needs to hit 4 more. If he wants to break the record for most home runs by anybody before the All-Star break, he needs to hit 5 over 6 games. But you're in New York, which could bode well. And the pitching matchups aren't crazy. I mean, Will Warren got shelled his last time out, but he's pitched okay so far this year, but he did get shelled, absolutely rocked. I don't know Cameron Schlittler personally, and then Marcus Stroman. So there's a good chance Cal definitely, he gets a couple in New York, especially with playing in New York. Bregman got selected to the All-Star game today for the Red Sox, but he is still hurt. But he should be back. I feel like he's probably back soon-ish. Given that they play in New York, I think Cal will at least tie Bonds. He's going to tie them at the least. At least. That's funny. A strained quad. Alex Bregman left baseball on May 23rd. When is he supposed to come back? I would have assumed Bregman would have been back before the trade deadline. Alex Cora didn't rule out the possibility that Bregman could play in either the upcoming series against the Rockies or Rays, and this was written yesterday. So he should be back maybe even before the All-Star break. So that's interesting. Favorite seat in the ballpark? Colton's face. Upcoming series against the Yankees. Listen, the Yankees have been scuffling pretty heavily. Obviously fell out of first place in the American League East. It helps that the Toronto Blue Jays are 9-1 their last 10. Yankees are 3-7 their last 10. So you could theoretically catch the Yankees on this road trip. You know what I mean? It's very possible that you could take over and surpass the Yankees. So that could be exciting. I think the pitching matchups favor you in that as well. You have Gilbert, Evans, and Wu versus Warren, Schlittler, and then Stroman. Like, feels pretty good there. J Mars, what's up, dude? What's up, bro? How you been? Gino and Santana you'd love back, but O'Hearn you stay away from. Not a fan, huh? I don't blame you. I think there's reason to be concerned, but I think he would be an upgrade to the existing pieces on the roster if they do not, get Naylor, if that makes sense. Gino said he doesn't want to leave AZ. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to pick. He doesn't get to choose. If the Diamondbacks deem him worthy to get return on investment, they will trade him. We currently have the most players in the All-Star game tied with the Tigers, which is an insane sentence to say. The fact that the Mariners have the most and they're tied with the Tigers is kind of funny. Nationals are breaking apart right now. Let's go get James Wood. James Wood for Blake Hunt and Milkar Perez. Thoughts? Anybody? Dodgers have 5, but it's most in the AL. True. That is also true, George. Good point. Guess you're also a Blue Jays fan now? Crazy. Crazy business. Absolutely crazy. Gino had the most strikeouts 2 years in a row. Let's see. I mean, his strikeout rate has dropped 3%. It was 31.2 and 30.8 in his 2 years in Seattle. It's at 27% his last 2 years in Arizona. I get why they traded him at the time, and he still has lots of strikeouts in his game, but Gino would be a worthwhile add to the team, I think. You go bandwagon for the Angels? I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. So, Lucario, go ahead. Go ahead, man. You do that. Manager and GM? Yeah. I did see that the manager and GM, Davey Martinez and Mike Rizzo, got fired. So everything's just falling apart. But it is what it is. It's okay. The Nats needed some sort of change up, and hopefully new leadership, new people with that young core can be good. Mariners' top 4 starters are elite right now. Think Miller should get the surgery. Couldn't agree more. I think he should have had it weeks ago at this point. But Mariners' pitching staff has kind of naturally figured itself out, which is something that we hoped would happen. Now, never a guarantee, but hoped that something like that would happen. And then you just roll with Evans until you go out and get a 5th starter if you deem Evans and Hancock not fit for a postseason run. You know what I mean? Granted, neither of them would pitch in the postseason anyway, because you'd go to a 4-man rotation of Gilbert, Wu, Castillo, Kirby. More than likely would be my assumption of how they'd do the postseason rotation should they get there. I think Gilbert, Wu, Castillo or Kirby. Probably Castillo then Kirby. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Who would you trade to get Mackenzie Gore? Blake Hunt and Milkar Perez. So, can we say hi to Colton before you go bandwagon to the Angels? Sure. Do that. Probably just naturally make this the end of the stream anyways, because we're talking about trading for Mackenzie Gore right now, and that's not going to happen. I'm joking about that being my trade package, truth be told. I don't think he'd be available personally, but that's neither here or there. Guys, Colton's here. Look. It's Colton, guys. Wow. Wow. Hey, guys. It's Colton here. Hey. Off day tomorrow. I'm pointing at the wrong camera. Off day tomorrow. You get a series sweep over the Pirates, one where you did not allow a single earned run. Awesome stuff out of the Mariners pitching staff. The offense didn't do too much outside of the first game. And then the latter two, it was Randy Arozarena's 2 solo home runs. But a series win is a series win. A series sweep is even better. Get an off day after 17 games. Absolutely massive. Then you get to face the Yankees, who are ahead of you in the wild card standings, but they're playing pretty poorly. So a chance to maybe even overtake them. Jeff, won't be excited for a trade for anyone who isn't a star in their prime. No 50-year-old Turner trades. Half measures won't get it done. Heart eye emoji. If there was a big splash to make, I would assume that the team could pull it off. I just don't know how big of a splash there is for the players that will be available. I don't think, like, Turner won't be the second best player that they would acquire. Like, though I think that there's going to be decent upgrades made, but I could be wrong. Kidding, you won't go bandwagon the Angels? Of course not. Of course not. Because why would you? That's the silliest thing to do. It's the silliest thing to do. James is retired? Hell yeah, dude. Every day is an off day for you? W. Good night. Good night. Trade for Clase so we can trade him for Garcia. And then we call him up first, though. We got to call him up first. Everyone enjoy the off day tomorrow, but specifically make sure you watch episode 206 of the Hit It Here podcast out at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, because what else are you going to do? There's nothing else to do, guys. You just got to watch the Hit It Here podcast. Appreciate everyone hanging out in stream. Jeff with a bunch of super chats, Lucari with a bunch of super chats, Dorian remembering earlier in the stream, Colton gifting 5 for the Mariner Mojo account. Shout out to y'all for just hanging out and chilling and making the post games fun and stuff. You want to just stare into the camera to end the stream?